What up, 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 what up? It's your boy Raindrop, Rain Drizzle, my co-host, co-captain, Cold Conspirator, Uncle Juju.
What is up, babies?
How's everybody doing? Welcome back to BXTV, aka Back from Hell, your Spotify and YouTube podcast where you didn't know everything you needed to know with your boys. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we're back. We're back in business. It's the weekly time. This week we don't have a comic book of the week. The book we were gonna do is Gargoyle of Gotham #3, but we think that book deserves a standalone video. So we're gonna do that. But we're finally gonna touch base on another chapter of the animated Justice League by Bruce Timm. We have a Justice League packed episode. We're covering episodes 4 through 7, which is in the Blackest Night Part 1 and 2, and the Enemy Below Part 1 and 2. That is basically the John Stewart and the Aquaman's intro stories. Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of like getting you involved with them, learning the characters and learning who they are and what they do and all that. And you kind of get it's really cool because, you know, not a lot of shows follow that recipe, and they should. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, James Gunn's Creature Commandos is almost like the same formula as this show. Like, you know, like, other than like the 2-part story arcs, just like the whole like, here's the team and then here's an episode about each team member, and then like I said, it's already renewed for season 2, so you know it's gonna be all right. Now that you know the team, let's get into the stories. But this is good, man. This was really fun. Yeah. I really enjoy looking back on these episodes, especially now that I am way more educated on the characters. Like, I was looking so forward to In the Blackest Night Part 1 and 2, because I love Green Lantern. I don't care. Like, I even like that weird fucking like knockoff Pixar looking Green Lantern show that came out for like I don't remember what it's called, but
can't remember it either.
But you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I think so.
Yeah. It didn't do well when it came out, but like it has like a cult following as being like one of the better Green Lantern shows, like straight up. But either way, yeah, man, Bruce Timm, just want to shout him out because he also did the animated Batman series. If you're not aware, I don't know how you could watch this show and not be aware that he did this and the Superman adventures. Like, the dude he was in his bag in the 90s, early 2000s. Like, he was delivering that nerdness to the kids, and I think adults were probably really digging it, if not now.
I think so. And the weird part is that when I was watching all 4 episodes, I forgot that they were like at least 10 to 15 years old.
Oh yeah,
probably older than that, but
I think it's 2003.
Okay. So. Yeah. It definitely felt like a modern, like, of today's animation.
Oh, dude,
how timeless it is.
It's just there's only small things that you can tell it's not modern, like the way some of the sexual innuendos, like for instance, we'll get into it. Actually, that's the Aquaman episode that I'm talking about. Yeah. But also there's like this like looking down upon on women kind of thing, like not like Bruce Timm is looking down on women, but like all of the bad guys do not respect women so far. Like,
oh no, they underestimate.
Yeah, like every single time. Like, my notes literally just say Hawkeye shows out again. Hawk Girl shows out again. Hawk Girl beats dudes' asses once again. Like, because like that's kind of like what this Green Lantern episode was for a minute, was Hawk Girl just shoving fucking mace up everybody's ass. But we'll get into that. So they kind of, if you know the story behind, and if you know like the Blackest Night storyline, it's not really that at all. It's not the Black Lantern resurrecting a bunch of dead lanterns and doing all that. It's not that. It's kind of a mix of what happened with Hal Jordan when he becomes Parallax, I believe, and he like destroys a whole planet. They kind of pulled from that, it seems like, because John Stewart basically, like, you get an intro to him. He's walking down the street with this dope ass music, and he's like being a cool guy. He's like in his town, and then these manhunters show up to arrest him, and you find out that he was getting in a fight with somebody, and these spaceships were coming at him, and he shot his lantern ring at him, and it bounced off and blew up a planet with 1 billion something people on it. So they were saying he was responsible for
they put him on trial.
Which I want to say though, real quick, those manhunters were kicking everybody's ass until fucking Superman pulled up. And he just started dog walking everybody. That's what I literally was thinking it when it happened. I was like, man, thank God for Superman, like, because
I love that moment where they're up in the Citadel, and they're like, we have an incoming invasion. All right, call everybody. Batman says he's not available. Like, Wonder Woman's dealing with some shit on Themyscira, and Superman has to deal with an earthquake. So it's like, well, fuck, it's up to us. You know?
Yeah, dude, they gave it their all, and then he said, you know, he got done fixing the earthquake, saving everybody from the earthquake, and he fucking shows up, and while he's about to finish beating all the manhunters' asses, Green Lantern, John Stewart, uses his ring, separates everybody, and he's like, I'm going with them, because he believes he really did this at this time. You know? Like, he really believed, like, yo, I blew up a whole fucking planet. Like, I deserve, like, you could tell he was feeling some guilt in the, like, episode the whole time, and I didn't remember what happened in this episode, so it felt very fresh, and like you said, it felt new because like I haven't seen it in so long.
Yeah, and if memory serves me correctly, these particular episodes were not the ones that got replayed a lot. So it wasn't like, you know, oh, I see it 4 or 5 times. It's like I think I only saw it once in its original run.
Yeah, me too, probably, because I mean, when I was watching Justice League as a kid, I was watching on Cartoon Network, and it was like the most popular episodes got played. Yes. Like, you know what I mean?
Over and over and over again, yeah.
So, but now that I've seen it, I'm like, dude, I fucking love it, because once they arrest him, they go to fucking whatever, and
the planet, yeah.
Yeah, and they put him on trial, and the Justice League shows up trying to save him.
The dome.
Yeah, it becomes a whole ordeal. And, like, you end up seeing all of the Green Lantern Corps. Like, it's Kilowog and all the other dudes, which, like, they really nailed that aspect of it. Like, they were all kind of, like, a couple of them were, like, real big dickheads about him being, like on trial, and they're like, they're like, if you were smart, you would get away from him now. Like, don't let him smear your reputation or whatever, like he's done with us. And she's like, a real Green Lantern would stick up for him. And just like the comic books, Kilowog goes up and sticks up for him. Kilowog, because like in the comic books, like Kilowog is like is real close to Hal Jordan from what I've read in most Green Lantern runs. But he's just like, he's the shit. Like, I love him. He's one of my favorite lanterns.
Oh, I can see why. Interesting bit of trivia. It was kind of fun to hear Red Foreman basically accuse Green Lantern, because that's Kirkwood Smith. That's his voice as the prosecutor.
Oh, was it? I didn't even pick up on that.
I was so waiting for him to go, dumbass, you know?
That's so funny, dude. I didn't even pick up on that.
I didn't at first, but I think he said a word, and I was like, holy fuck, that's Red Foreman.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. I really do think though they because I've seen a couple other episodes where him and Hawk Girl team up,
Yeah.
and Hawk Girl was really like angry about this and was ready to go toe to toe with everybody. And she
Yeah.
beat all of the Green Lantern's asses like in the cafeteria by herself when they tried to talk shit about him. And the only one that like didn't do anything was Kilowog. Like he was just sitting
Yeah.
there.
And I think that's also when they kind of realize that like they have to, they're lanterns, they have to stick together. They can't just ostracize one, because they got caught in some shit. Like,
Well, yeah, and while all that's going on,
yeah,
Superman and Martian Manhunter are checking out the moon that's somehow still
Yeah.
in orbit of a planet that's gone because they made the point that if there was no planet, it would have floated off into
Yeah.
space. And I want to point out too that like a whole planet supposedly being destroyed and killing billions of people is a very dark storyline to set on some kids, by the way.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. And just the fact that you have to carry that, like, without giving spoilers, like the fact that you have to carry that guilt with you. That you were
Yeah.
responsible and not intentionally, by the way. He wasn't trying to
No,
fuck
I
with the
I
planet,
told him. I told him.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, to add to the pathos of it is like he wasn't setting out to kill those people. It just happened, you know, by, in his mind, sheer bad luck, you know.
No, 100%. 100%. And while they're out there, though, they find this jaunt that basically is like Martian Manhunter said he had one as a kid. It basically causes illusions, it creates illusions.
It's like
and,
a hologram projector, basically.
Yeah, and he was like, this is just a giant version of it. And they find out that the planet is still there. And somebody was setting up John Stewart this whole time. And guess what? It was those piece of shit robots.
Yep, the manhunters who are trying. Well, I'm gonna let you get into that.
Oh, well, they're
you
trying.
explained it so eloquently.
The manhunters are trying to take control of the lantern like the main battery for all of the Green Lantern rings because they feel like they were robbed because they were created by the people at OA or whatever. And
yeah, they were the Guardians, I believe.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The Guardians, and they felt like they were betrayed and the power was theirs and they were giving it to the wrong people. And yeah, so all the Green Lanterns have to get together and stop them, and Hawk Girl, Superman, Manhunter show up.
Yep.
And
the Flash was defending John Stewart, which this episode turned me on the Flash. Like, at first I kind of thought he was annoying. He really wasn't my favorite character, but
I never thought the Flash was annoying in this show. I've always loved the way they carry him in this show.
Yeah.
Like, even as a kid, I loved him. Funny little ladies man, like.
Oh, like, I guess what I'm saying is, for me at least, by the time this episode came around, I became a fan of this version of the Flash. Because especially like when he's trying to invoke like all these human laws to like this alien court, it's like he has no idea what he's saying. You know?
No, he doesn't. He's just talking out of his ass. Well, they told him to stall, and that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. But once they figure out the plan, they try to go stop him. One of the Manhunters walks into the battery and is absorbing all the power. Basically, John Stewart sucks that Manhunter into his ring. He absorbs him into his ring and holds him in there forever. And that's basically like the end of the episode. It was pretty gnarly though. Like that was the end of the 2 episodes. It was pretty gnarly though. I mean, like, you had this whole trial and like you really didn't know John Stewart wasn't guilty until like towards the end of episode, like the second part. Like, that's what I like. I like that they really make you think like this guy did this shit.
And I think they did such a good job too of, like, again, the suspension of disbelief. So like as soon as they landed on the moon, you kind of knew that something was up. You know what I'm
But that's
saying?
what I'm saying. That wasn't until
Yeah,
part two.
yeah, that's right. That's,
Yeah, that wasn't until part two. That wasn't in the first episode.
yeah, no, because the whole time you think like, all right, he's fucked. Like, they
Yeah,
got rid of
like
lawyers. There's no justice system really. It's just
yeah,
like
like
you did it. End of story. You know?
and every time everybody goes up to talk to and defend him, it just makes it kind of worse because they say
Yeah.
something. They're like, "So this is what this means," and they're like, I guess so." I guess
Like,
that is true, huh?
yeah. But I think it was a great way to introduce the Lantern Corps as a whole into the series because like it's a Green Lantern centric story. So like eventually you're gonna have to involve the Guardians, the OA, Kilowog, all the other Lanterns because like they become a seminal part of the Justice League now. You know?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, and it just gives you a lot to play with, like
Yeah.
in future episodes. Like you can bring in these characters, take these superheroes elseworlds and or whatever, and fucking just cook, you know. And I want to shout out that Bruce Timm, like he knows these characters, in my opinion. Like
Yes.
this feels like great like cartoon adaptations of these characters, and I fully support what he did back then.
Oh, uh, one other thing that I would like in that vein, these characters feel so lived in. You kind of forget that you've only had like 3 episodes prior with them.
Yeah,
It feels like they've been doing the Justice League for quite a while. You know?
no, it does, and that was I think that was actually one of my notes. What was it? Oh, I don't even remember what I was gonna say. But no, I agree. You definitely feel like you've known them for a while, and I think that's like what makes the show also so good. Is like you feel so acquainted with this group of heroes, and like you haven't even got everybody's backstory yet completely, and like you're just like, all right, I know this dude, I know Wonder Woman, I know Hawk Girl, like these are all my boys.
Um, out of those first two episodes, who do you think was your favorite character overall?
Uh, so the short cameo of Kilowog, just because he's my
Yeah.
favorite Lantern. But my favorite Justice League member was Hawk Girl. She just really like went crazy and beat everybody's ass a few times. And like even when Superman and Martian Manhunter were getting attacked on the moon by that dude in the spaceship, she pulled
Yes.
up in their spaceship and started fucking shit up even then. So like on every avenue, Hawk Girl was in her bag getting her ones on everybody. So
Yes.
I really think she showed out. So that would be my favorite. What about you?
I would have to agree with Hawk Girl. I also like the fact that she's kind of the first person to kind of see through the bullshit. That she knows that there's something else going on, that he didn't do it. Like, even though
Yeah,
they tell her, like, they have proof. Like, what do you have? And she's like, I just know. You know,
100%, 100%. She's like,
like
nah, this
from
shit's
go, and
fishy.
it kind of shows that, like, at least in her character, like when there's an attack on one of us, there's an attack on all of us, and she's kind of the first Justice League member to have that mentality. You know,
Nah, yeah, at least showed in the show. Yeah, for
yeah, at
sure.
least shown in the show. But I just think that was a really good part of her character and a really good way to display it as well.
Totally agree, dude. She definitely sold me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a fan. I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to more Hawk Girl episodes on this breakdown of the Justice League.
I
Um,
may actually start reading Hawk Girl. Um,
yeah, I mean, I probably would look up and see what run. You know,
yeah,
there's probably some like defying runs or like whatever.
yeah.
It's like I do that a lot. I'll just go and look up like best whatever character runs, and I'll just like look through everybody's
Yeah.
three list and then like preview a couple. Interesting to me.
Yeah, man. That's
So
a good way of doing it. I mean,
yeah, but yeah, maybe I will read some Hawk Girl. I've never read a solo Hawk Girl story. I don't think I've ever read a book with Hawk Girl in it, to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like maybe there may have been a couple times where she appeared as like a side character, but never like one of the main featured. I think.
I literally can't think of a book I've read where she's like in it. I don't read a lot of Justice League and shit though.
Yeah, fair. Um, so I guess that leads us into um the enemy below, which was my favorite two-parter so far. Um,
It was all right. I knew you were gonna like it, but
yeah.
I thought the story was written very well. I just like I don't know. I was I was a little bit like in and out on it. Like
Fair. Fair. I also come from it like I saw at least the first Aquaman movie, really liked it, but I don't know. I like this interpretation of Aquaman a lot. Um,
I enjoy the interpretation of Aquaman. I just felt like the action scenes in it, like especially underwater, were just kind of lackluster.
yeah, it was like it felt like if you just took away like the shots of the surface, they could basically just be flying in space or like
Yeah, or whatever. So I was just kind of like, you
Yeah.
know. But I thoroughly enjoyed what they did with the character and how in 2 episodes he completely transforms from one guy to another.
Yes. Like you said it. Great point. I'm not gonna elaborate because I can't really elaborate.
Yeah. I
You're
mean,
on
but
fire tonight, bro. I'm just telling you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. But no, for real, like it's a really good story. Essentially,
Yeah.
this U.S. submarine has like a nuclear vessel on it or whatever, and
And nuclear
fucking
warheads.
yeah, and Aquaman sinks it, and the
Yeah.
Justice League comes to save everybody and take the warhead, and Aquaman's like, you can take the passengers, but you can't take the sub. John Stewart's like not fucking happy about
Yes.
it, and everybody else
He's
is like, it's okay, and he's like, this is not gonna be okay.
yeah.
And while they all leave and they're back on the surface, John Stewart goes back and finds out that the
Warheads
nuclear
are
warhead,
missing.
the warheads are missing. And he's telling everybody that Aquaman's crazy man and that he took the warheads. And Aquaman is like being told that like he needs to like step up by his people and
Yep.
fucking attack the surface and all this, that, and the third. So he goes to the surface, and on his way there, he gets shot at by a rocket launcher,
Yes.
and it's not very good. He gets very, very injured. Batman comes in, tells him, "Yo, you gotta put him in some saline salt water."
Yeah, salt water. Yeah.
Yeah, to get his vitals going. He's like a fish out of water, literally word for word what he says. And they're trying to figure out who attacked him, and they're trying to figure out, like, yo, what happened to the warhead. And then you basically find out that his brother or whatever is
Yes. Of his brother Orm.
yeah, he's basically like working against him, and he hired they never said his name, but he was clearly Deadshot. Like,
Shot. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
yeah, like they never said his name, weirdly enough, but he acted like Deadshot, and he like had the same. I mean, he literally had the same character design.
I would say that Wikipedia lists him as Deadshot in their episode synopsis. So
Okay, Cool. Um, but yeah, Deadshot. They find out Deadshot was behind it, and his brother took the warhead to basically get. They had this thing built at the polar caps.
Yes.
If the surface ever tried to take over Atlantis, they were gonna melt the caps
The
and
global
flood.
ice caps. Basically do global warming, but like in one day.
Yeah, essentially. Which is true because it's like fucking. It was like 70 degrees today in the middle of December. I was like, this feels good, but this is not good.
It looks like it should be snowing.
Yeah.
But it feels like it can't.
Yeah, you know. But his brother is basically doing this and fucking chains Aquaman and his son to a sliding off cliff into some lava. And Aquaman freezes one arm, and then he takes the aqua joint off of his belt and goes fucking saw and cuts his fucking hand off and saves his son. So, I mean, what a dad of the year.
Yep, I will give you my arm and leg, buddy.
And he really did.
Yeah,
he really fucking did, bro. Like, I mean, not to make it seem less like awesome, but like he low-key had to do it anyway or he was gonna die.
Yeah,
like he couldn't free his other arm, so it was like you either lose a hand or you lose it all, bud. Like, I'm sure his son was a deciding factor. They made it seem that way, the way they were like showing the shots of it, but
I was like, that Atlantean swaddle is doing the strength of like 1,000 men because he literally just sticks a knife in the cliff and then hangs the kid on it.
Like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
I was like, oh, that kid should be dead by like the first like push,
Fucking cartoon, man.
I know, right?
What do you expect? I'm not gonna kill a baby.
No. I mean, you have a dude who can live and breathe underwater, yet lives in a city with a giant dome over it. Like,
I mean, if you think about it, though, not everything you use every day, like, even if you live, like, if you're a human that can breathe and live in water, like certain, like, objects and chemicals and stuff gotta stay dry. So, like,
yeah.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Not fish people. They just have powers of fish.
Yeah.
But yeah, once he frees himself from the cliff, the Justice League, him, and all them show up to the polar ice caps. They have a giant fight. He savagely lets his brother fall into a hole and quote unquote die, or parentheses die, because I don't know if he's actually dead. But yeah, fucking kind of gnarly, dude. I did not think that was gonna happen. I didn't think he was gonna let his brother fall to his death. Like,
it's just like you think he's gonna reach down and grab him. He just grabs the trident.
Yeah, yeah, dude. He is like, you're not falling with that, motherfucker. That's an heirloom.
I do want Aquaman's trident now. Like,
that'd be pretty cool. I give you that.
Yeah.
I can agree. That'd be pretty fucking cool. I mean,
I am Lord of the Sea.
I'll be honest with you, though, it was the most interested I've ever been in Aquaman. So. Yeah.
Oh, and he also gets a giant hook for his hand, which is kind of a cool design detail.
Yeah, before he goes to fight his brother, the doctor of Atlantis fucking put the hook on his hand. Which he looks pretty badass, like Gigi said, with the hook. I think it's funny, though, when he's standing there with the trident and the hook, and I'm like, damn, bro, you really have, like, no other hand. Like, you can't... You can hold one thing at a time unless it's a grocery bag.
It's like, in Eight Crazy Nights, I wonder if you've ever wiped your ass with the wrong hand.
Yeah. Ow.
Yeah, no.
Aquaman be fucked in the Justice League, dude. I am excited though to see what they do with him as a character,
Yes.
like how they throw him in there. So, I mean, I'm not mad about it. I wasn't annoyed watching it. It was still fun. Like,
Um, I gotta say though, I liked these episodes because I liked the idea that like even in Atlantis, there's still intrigue and backstabbing going on. Like there's always going to be somebody who's going to try and get the upper hand no matter what. Um,
oh yeah,
and, and the whole like
everybody's a dog.
yeah, and the whole like brother against brother thing, which is kind of like when he's holding on, I was just like, this motherfucker's gonna pull a Lion King, man.
You
Like.
know.
And also, like, I'm of the mentality that in these shows, if I don't see a body, they're not dead. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. And it's like Cartoon Network, so I'm like, did they really kill him?
Do they
It's
really
like,
kill him off?
yeah, like I feel like they're gonna like some guy back. So I guess we'll see.
Oh yeah.
We won't know until we get there, though. I'm not looking up no spoilers.
Oh hell no.
I'll be first. So what did you think about it overall? Who was your favorite character?
My favorite character in this had to be Aquaman himself. Because I liked how they kind of realized that in like Justice Friends and his early incarnations, he really wasn't this, king of the seas, all sort of all powerful king of Atlantis. He was just kind of the bitch who got caught in traps and stuff. So I think they really took him and said, let's get real serious with this and kind of take away the goofy aspect of it because I think that had tainted the character for many, many years. Like like for instance, when I was growing up, prior to the Justice League, everybody talked shit on Aquaman. He was regarded as like one of the worst DC superheroes. Like everybody kind of looked their nose down on him. And I remember my teacher telling me even that there were some runs where he's written so good. It's
Yeah,
just
there's a
tainted by
there's
all
a
that.
Peter David there's a Peter David run that's pretty fire apparently.
Yeah.
I follow a lot of people that love Aquaman, so I the only thing I've ever seen people shit on Aquaman for was Jason Momoa.
But
Like
like
those movies.
he wasn't bad. Those movies themselves were not bad. They were interesting to watch. Like I think the whole politics kind of ruined the second movie for me. Like when I say politics, I mean shit that happened outside of the movie. You know?
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to find like we go. Peter David and Marty Egland.
Right.
Elevated Arthur King Orin to new heights. Depths. That's a funny joke. Wait 30 years for this entire run alongside the Atlantis Chronicles. And this is a 1,500 page omnibus.
Oh shit. That's a lot of um who was your favorite character?
Uh, Probably John Stewart. He's been.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought he was funny. I thought it was funny that he was so like fuck Aquaman in this. Like, he
Yeah.
just kept calling him fucking crazy man and like saying that they had to deal with his bitch ass. And I was like, yo, because like low key Aquaman's being kind of a prick the whole first episode. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
even the second one up until he realizes like, yo, he almost got his son killed being the way he was.
And you also kind of realize that like Atlantis cannot exist as a singular entity and like they have to work with the humans, like kind of like a symbiotic relationship, if you will.
The surface dwellers.
Yeah, the surface dwellers. I also like the detail that it was Superman who told him that if he had a grievance to go talk to the UN, basically. It was like, we have world governments, go deal with them.
Yeah, they didn't go too well for him. He walked out and got shot at by an RPG.
Yeah, like almost immediately, you know?
Yeah, dude, that shit was quickness.
I did like the image of him just walking onto the beach, like.
Oh yeah, dude, that was geek. The surfer dude was like, "Where'd that guy come from?"
Yeah. He's just like just wearing pants. That's it. That's all he's wearing. Just walk from the beach to the UN and like demands to see the World Council. Like,
yeah, no, he's kind of hilarious. I know kids thinking about it, though. Like,
no. No.
I'm not even really thinking about it because I'm like, it's a superhero show. Like, fuck, like, you know, it's funny though. Yes,
Yeah.
it is funny. But damn, yeah, man. I think this was a very enjoyable 4 episodes. Like,
Yes.
I was not
Very
disappointed. Yeah, no, it was quick. I watched it in one sitting. I was just sitting here at the computer watching it. Fucking banger, dude.
I think going forward, this may be one of those shows that I even may watch outside of Brain Dead, just have something to watch, you know?
Yeah, for surely. I just watch them with the show because, like, there's so many that we're gonna. I don't know, just easier. It's easier for me to remember exactly what happened in each episode.
Yeah, it's easier to kind of pick like the arcs.
Yeah,
like just an individual episode.
Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much everything, dudes. Like, that pretty much covers the whole shaboing boing, you know what I'm saying? So I believe the next arc that we cover is Paradise Lost Part 1 and 2 and War World Part 1 and 2.
Okay.
So one is Paradise Lost is a Wonder Woman arc, and War World is a Superman arc. I actually remember that episode arc. That one's pretty good. I enjoy that one a lot.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I like all the. They bring in some other DC characters that you haven't met. So it makes it interesting and fun. Also, if you like what you heard here tonight, make sure you follow us on Twitch. It's free. You can go there and follow us and watch us stream every Friday and Saturday at 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do a live podcast. It's different topics and different comic book of the night every Friday and Saturday. So 2 different comic books we cover each week, and we just talk about other comic books, characters, movies, TV shows, whatever the fuck is popping in the nerd universe. You know what I'm saying?
All the cool shit that we know and love.
Yeah,
and some of the stuff that we don't know. You know?
Yeah, you know what I mean? We try to get involved. We try to dial in, tap in, whatever you young kids are calling it. But no, I appreciate everybody hung out. Make sure you watch Justice League, Animated Justice League. Bruce Timm killed it. Even Justice League Unlimited is good. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we'll even cover that once we finish this. But I appreciate everybody who tuned in. Remember, stay greasy, stay sleazy, and smoke a bleezy. Yeah. Nah, but for real, love you guys. Remember, never offended, always recommended. Peace.